pre-K, we are going to finish our ocean alphabet book. So we started obviously with A and we went all the way to L. We did lobster. And I remember that because I love eating lobster. And we don't have lobster around here in our waters. They have them up in colder water, up by Plymouth Rock, or even further up the coast than that. And you can get lobsters. There's Florida lobsters and key lobsters down in the Keys, and they're a lot smaller, but they're really good too. So that was our last one. So if we ended with L, what letter comes after L? L, M. So our M, oh, it's a little fish. Minnows. M is for minnows. Minnows are little fish. Usually they're only about as big as your finger. And they can be found in shallow waters, marshland, or creeks. And we have lots of minnows around here, around Hilton Head. So you might have even, if you've gone fishing before, you might have even used minnows as bait. Ooh, N. This one, you know what? I didn't know it had this name. I always thought of it as a puffer fish, but this is called the northern puffer fish. And the puffer fish will puff up. This one does not have little spikes on it, but it will puff up and then get smaller again. And that is so predators don't eat it. So that is N, the northern puffer. O, we have done this one, and I love it. And I bet you know what it is. O is for yes, octopus. The octopus. This octopus is scary looking, but it will not hurt you. It has 8 arms. Can you imagine shaking hands with an octopus? It would take all day. So there's our O. L-M-N-O. P. Ooh, periwinkles. Periwinkles. P is for periwinkles. Periwinkles live inside of shells. They can be found on rocks at low tide. Some people call them snails. And we have these all around us too. Remember, this whole book, it's all things that we find in our Atlantic Ocean. And the little periwinkle snails, you can see them at low tide. If you go out to the beach at the beach that's by the soccer fields, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. You can go out there and see periwinkles. I've seen them, maybe you've been to dinner at Old Oyster Factory, and you go out and it's low tide, and you go out on the deck at the back, and it's low tide, you can see the snails. And sometimes, I know where else I've seen them, at Coastal Discovery Museum. If you go there, they have some piers, and if it's low tide, you can see the periwinkle snails. Q is for quahog. And a quahog is a kind of clam. And we were going to do clams as one of our animals, and I still might get to it. But if not, they're really interesting, and they're very cool. And these are called quahog clams. They have hard shells, and seagulls, they can open them all by themselves. And small clams are called cherry stones or little necks. And maybe you've had clam chowder before. It's a soup that's made with clams. It's really good. Ooh, R. R is for redfish. This makes me think of an art project that we will do next year when we're back to school, and I see you guys in art because I have a fun project with redfish. R is for redfish. Redfish are caught in very deep water. They are oily, and lobstermen use them as bait to catch lobster. You know what? I did not know that. There's a redfish. QRS. Very good. A scallop. So these shells, when you see these, those are called scallops. Scallops are like clams, and they have pretty shells. There are many other creatures whose names begin with S. Let's think. salmon, sand dollar, sunfish, sea snails, shrimp, starfish, smelt. All of those live in the Atlantic Ocean. Lots of S animals. Ooh, tea. This is another good one. This is something I love to eat and to catch. And T is for tuna. A tuna fish. And it says, everybody has heard of tuna. When they are grown up, they are almost as big as cars. And I tell you, they can get really, really, really big. U is for urchin. And we did the urchin, didn't we? Charlie Webster made an amazing urchin and sent me a picture. U is for urchin. Urchins are round with hundreds of sharp spines sticking out of their shells. If you are barefoot, try not to step on one. Ooh, V. V is for viperfish. Look at that. The viperfish lives way down deep, way, so deep that it's dark all the time. They have lights inside their mouths and along their sides to attract food. Ooh. I've never seen one of those in real life. I guess I probably never will. I don't ever want to go that deep in the water. W. Ooh, look at these fish. W is for wolf fish. So like we're the St. Francis Catholic School wolves, there is a wolf fish. Look at those teeth. The wolf fish have large teeth and very strong jaws and are used to open their favorite foods, scallops, clams, and mussels. So they like to eat the food that are inside of shells. It didn't say oysters, but the other shell foods. X. Oh, you know what? This book, look, it says there is no X. Can you think of? It says we can't think of any fish whose name begins with the letter X. Can you? Maybe not. Oops, we found one. It says, oops, we found one. X is for Xiphias gladius. Xiphias. This is the scientific name for a swordfish. Swordfish. So a lot of times animals, not just ocean animals, but any animals, they'll have a scientific name, which is very hard to pronounce. And then the name we know them by. So that would be the scientific name for the swordfish. Y. Ooh. Well, I knew there's yellow-tailed fish, but I didn't know there's a yellow-tailed flounder. Now, if you look at the flounder, look, both of his eyes are on one side, and the flounder lays flat on the bottom. Yellowtails are flat fish with both eyes on one side of their heads. They're called yellowtails because, why do you think? Their tails are yellow. I know. And then Z. Z is for zillions. That's how many fish there are in the ocean. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know if I asked at the beginning. Fiction? Nonfiction? What is it? Was it a story? Or did it tell us facts and information about different things? You're right. It's nonfiction. Bye, pre-K.